Up. So, this is a new game that came out just recently. Actually, I think it just came out yesterday. It's called Salt and Sanctuary. Now, this game is going to remind you a lot of Dark Souls. If you are a Dark Souls fan, you will enjoy this. So, I'm still right at the early part of the game right now. I played it a little bit, but then decided to start it over and do my character a little different. I haven't really gotten that far yet. So I'm just going to go through a couple little of my first impressions so far. Gameplay is really fun. Combat is pretty challenging. Interesting that they actually incorporate a pretty good blocking and parrying system in this game. Of course, these little guys right here aren't really doing anything that I can parry at the moment, but hopefully I'll find someone shortly and show you some of the parry attacks. Environments are gothic and gloomy, just like a Dark Souls game. Even the as you just noticed, the titles as they pop up are very reminiscent of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and any From Software games that you may be familiar with. As you notice, there's a stamina bar up there in the left-hand corner, health bar. You've got potions, refillable items. Big point on this game is you're collecting salt, much in the same way that you collect souls in the Souls games, or blood echoes in Bloodborne, something like that. And of course, if you die, you lose your salt. You have one opportunity to get it back. If you fail, well then guess what? It's gone forever. And a cue that this game has definitely taken from Bloodborne is that when you die, you have to defeat an enemy to get your salt back. You don't just walk over there and pick it up. And even if you die, say, like falling off of a cliff or a trap or something like that, it'll actually spawn an enemy that you'll have to defeat. I haven't found any of those to be too terribly difficult yet. And in here, these are the sanctuaries. This is where I was starting off at. Just had to collect a little bit more salt because I think I've got enough to level up here. Leveling system is pretty much just like a Dark Souls game or in the From Software games. You hit your level and you get skill points used. Of course, on this, you actually level and then you go into a separate screen to use your skill points, whereas on Dark Souls 2, and Bloodborne, as you choose your skills, it actually bumps your level as you put in your skill points. So, here I am taking a level, going into my tree of skill, where I can select parameters to boost and whatnot. Let's see. I think I'll go... I always like to increase my strength a little for the first part of the game, at least give me a little bit of an edge. The first thing I did, and it's an important thing that probably anyone would want to do, actually, your first level you take, you have an opportunity to increase your pulse pouch, which is going to allow you to have carry one more health potion. And interestingly enough, it's not actually a health potion. It depends on what oath you take at the beginning of the game. And this actually caused me a bit of a problem, because I was trying to ask my friend, where the hell is the replenishing healing items, like the Estus Flask or whatnot? And he was like, well, it's there. And I was like, well, I don't see it because nothing's replenishing. Turned out, for my character, because I chose basically to take the Iron Oath, my replenishing item is a Hearty Roll, which is a bread roll, and I didn't notice it replenishing because who would expect a bread roll to replenish? Funny, but there you go. So let's see, we'll put my strength up a little bit here. You can also make offerings. You can put these idols and stuff on them, and it changes things in the environment. I haven't done too much of that yet. It doesn't change. I don't think it changes things in the environment. It just gives you certain boost and whatnot. But I'll deal with that a little later. So, one thing is probably fair to mention. This game is receiving, obviously, a lot of comparison to Dark Souls. One of the things I haven't heard people talk about too much yet is its similarity to the Castlevania series, which, while it plays very much like a Dark Souls game, it is still, at its core, a platformer, meaning you're going to be jumping around, doing some dodging by jumping rather than just rolling. And that's something you don't do a lot in the Dark Souls series. You don't ever really, like, jump over enemies' attacks. Well, some people might, if you got enough agility, but it's not a common mechanic that's utilized. Usually, you're blocking or evading or dodging in some way by rolling or cartwheeling or dashing very fast, like in Bloodborne. So I've already been through this area a little bit. Just kind of showing you the little first parts of the game. And that there is a pouch of salt. And a pouch of salt basically is the equivalent of finding Soul of a Brave Hero on Dark Souls, or finding Cold Blood Dewdrops in Bloodborne, and just things that you can actually crush it and it will give you more salt. And here I'll go ahead and crush one so you can see it. Ooh, just step on it. There you go. How convenient. And in addition to your replenishable health item, there are other health items, such as these red shards. You can use these and they'll kind of refill you slowly for a period of time. It can be useful when you're up against something that's kind of hammering away at you. At least it'll continue to refill your health. So it's a common item. You find that in a lot of From Software games. The guys who made this game are probably going to get real tired of this being compared to From Software, but hey, you're going to make a game that resembles Dark Souls, you're going to have to deal with it. So, and that's not a slam at this game. This game is really fun and it's really cool. And if anything, the similarity to Dark Souls is, in my opinion, nothing but a strength. I find Dark Souls and Bloodborne to be some of the best games I've ever played, just challenge-wise and balance of exploration, combat, and so let's see. I think I may have enough salt to do one more level. There's a boss lingering around here. We're going to get to in just a minute. Let's see if I can't get this stamina bar up a little bit before I go take him on. Now here's an interesting thing. If you notice, right now, there's actually playing a little bit of ambient music in the background while you're running through the stage. Not something you find a whole lot in From Software's games. They're very, very careful, and I would say even artistic about where they place their music, which really adds to the game. But this being a 2D game, a little bit more of that music is definitely helpful. So it's probably a wise design choice that they decided to bring that in and out here and there instead of just, you know, one or two times in the when you're running through the game. Well, let's see. So let's hit another level. And Tree of Skill. And I want to get my willpower up, because as the text says, willpower determines your maximum stamina. So let's put a point into that. Alright, now let's go fight us a boss and see if I get my ass hammered. which is probably what's going to happen. That didn't sound right. No, it did not. Note to self. Rephrase terminology. You can actually... I haven't found any mechanic on here that allows you to dash. There may be, and I just haven't seen it yet, but... if you switch your sword over, or your weapon over to two-handed, he runs faster, but then is left a little more vulnerable. Let's head out here. I've already been there. It's not the way to go. There we are. Oh, I think I opened up a gate here earlier. Let's see if I can just hop over here. There we go. Up the ladder. What the hell is over here? Oh, yes, another little refill. This is like, I think this is kind of like a little mini sanctuary. Like, you can't put a, icon here to level up or anything, but it does refill your health. And I mean, that's just very reminiscent. I mean, it's candles with, you know, a little flame at the top. Just very reminiscent of a bonfire right there from Dark Souls. Stone. Oh, I got a stone blacksmith item. Alright, so here is where the boss is going to be. Let's see what we can do. That little note was left by someone, said jump over lightning. And I have fought this boss once before, and that is exactly what you want to do. The Sodden Knight. Or Sodden Knight. Whatever. And over the lightning. And, oh shit. Okay. A little block. Oh crap. Okay. Well, let's get that sweet roll out, because I'm probably going to want to take it. Give me my sweet roll, or hearty roll, whatever. Jump over his lightning attacks. Trying not get stuck in the corner. That's a pretty general rule for any 2D platformer. Getting stuck in the corner is not usually a good idea. Ah, shit. Woo, that was close. And he hammered me anyway. And for me, in all the Dark Souls games, stamina always plays a big part, because I need it to do all kinds of things, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be much of a different story on this one. Yeah. And for our first boss, he's pretty relentless. He likes to... Alright, come on. See what you can do. Yeah, apparently a lot. Oh, and gotcha. Sometimes you just gotta take that aggressive last charge. Usually that winds up with me dying. It's generally not a good strategy. But it worked on the first boss of the game, and so there we go. So there's a little taste of Salt and Sanctuary. So far it seems like it's a really fun game. So if you like Dark Souls, especially if you're waiting on Dark Souls 3 to come out and want something new to tide you over, tired of running through Chalice dungeons on Bloodborne, then pick this up and give it a try. I dare say you will not be disappointed.